Oh, we are live. What's going on, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the Detox Podcast, episode 284 to be exact. If you're new here and enjoy music, podcasts, comedy, or hooping videos, do consider subscribing. We've got a whole bunch of that stuff going on around here. And when you do subscribe, leave a like or hang out with us in the live chat like you're going to do today. Helps us share conversations and laughs like this with more people, so do consider doing that. Now, before I can get into today's show, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about vacation time. All right, it's that time of year. It's getting cold here in the Midwest, specifically in Wisconsin, or in the UP, if you're where our sponsor's at today. And you know what? It feels good to enjoy some of that winter. Don't just hide inside all winter long. I know you want to. I want to too. I want to play video games. I just want to hide inside. But you got to get out. You got to go enjoy the winter wonderland, especially up at today's video sponsor, Alpine House 2. Let's be real, there's nothing better than a well-earned vacation. Feels good to just get away from everything for a little bit and enjoy yourself, and there's no better place to do it than with today's video sponsor. Alpine House 2 is a classic Swiss chalet duplex A-frame with a log cabin interior located directly across the street from the Ski Brûlée Resort in Iron River, Michigan, surrounded by forests, lakes, rivers, obviously Iron River. Alpine House 2 is the destination for fishing, hunting, hiking, snowmobiling, skiing, all that good stuff, especially this time of the year. They've been booked up pretty regularly over on Airbnb for their first few months of being open, and Detox has been partnered with them for a while, so reach out to them at Alpine House 2. That's at ALPINEHAUS number 2. On Instagram, that's at Alpine House 2. To stay up to date for renovations, bookings, and more, reach out to them. Tell them Rita Detox sent you, and they'll get you set up with a vacation. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, we've got some fun to get into, or not so fun. I don't know. I've been having a lot of thoughts and feelings as my counterpart is leaving for work. There you are. Have a good night. I've been having a lot of angst, a lot of anger, a lot of just weird feelings, man. I don't know if you guys know. If you don't know, maybe you've been living under a rock, or somehow you're off the grid. Maybe you're like a couple old friends of mine that were in film school and refused to have iPhones and switched to some old school flip phone. Maybe you're one of those guys, all right? And that's how you don't know what's going on right now. But the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, this past Wednesday on December 4th, got in broad daylight in New York City. The shooter fled, essentially fled through Central Park, was missing. They couldn't figure out where they had went. In the meantime, as they were investigating, they found that the bullets had the words deny, defend, and depose etched on them. They ended up eventually finding the backpack of said shooter in the park with Monopoly money. It was filled with Monopoly money. They caught what they think is the guy today. This is the newest update, because a McDonald's employee reported it. Now, this story is interesting for a million reasons, and obviously there's people probably way more informed than myself, way funnier than myself, way more invested, or maybe in more powerful positions than myself talking about this. But I figure, why not give my 2 cents as well? And the reason for that is because I think there's a lot of people that watch this show that maybe aren't as tapped in, or aren't as regularly tapped into maybe like social or economic issues. And I think that this story specifically, when we get into some of the details, does a good job of highlighting those issues to people that maybe normally don't connect those dots, or just aren't even as plugged in. Like, I think it's one of the first times you're seeing in America, or at least in my adult life, where there isn't, I've seen this comment a lot, where it isn't so much as like a left and right politically or economically. It is more of an up versus down situation. That being the upper class versus the working class. And it's been really interesting to see. Dude, there's like a piece of hair in my eye, and I cannot get it out. And you guys got to tell me if you see where it's at. Give me some direction. But some quick facts here to back up. So we want to put context, right? Because why is this such a big deal? Obviously, someone got murdered, broad daylight. the video is everywhere. If you want to go see it, we're not going to play it here. The shooter had a silencer, seemed to know what they were doing. Pulled up on dude right before his meeting, his shareholders meeting that morning. Popped him, got out of there real quick. Again, seemingly knew what they were doing. Fled, essentially escaped New York City because they were found today in Pennsylvania. Again, with the help of a McDonald's employee, which is an interesting wrinkle. But why, other than the literal just someone being killed, which obviously that happens every day. It's sad that it happens every day, but it does happen every day. Why is this such a huge story? Well, it's interesting as people are getting into it, and we find out that the bullets have these words: deny, defend, depose on them, and we find out that his bag has monopoly money. It's interesting that detectives and the news, especially mainstream news, continue to speculate on well, what could this mean? They're really scratching their head, why would this person do this? What are they saying with these words? But you go anywhere online and everybody already gets it. And I think that's what's so interesting is that nobody wants to see. Before I get into that, we'll get into this. All right, so some more facts real quick. United Healthcare Group, right? So first off, it's the largest insurance company in the United States. That's what Brian Thompson was the CEO of. They're aside from insurance companies, and just companies in general in the world, the 9th largest in the world is a healthcare insurance company. So for profit, and they make, most countries, a lot of developed countries, I should say, I think most first world countries, maybe all, have some sort of, single payer system or have healthcare from their government, right? So they're not making a bulk of that money to be 9th place overall. We're talking Google, we're talking everything worldwide. They're number 9. They're in the top 10, and they're making all that money from the U.S. specifically. In 2023, United denied about 1 in every 3 claims from people. And again, if you don't understand how insurance works, for maybe some of the younger people in the audience and myself, it's interesting, this story, because I am currently in the marketplace, going through marketplace to get insurance for my health, because I turned 26 not too long ago. And it's just, it's sort of such a hassle when you start getting into it. You maybe empathize with people's frustrations towards people in that industry. But so 1 in every 3 claims were denied. And how does healthcare work, right? So I pay you. We're going to pretend your name is United. I pay United, let's say $100 a month for my insurance. So that comes out at $1,200 a year. And in doing that, right, they're supposed to cover preventative care, as well as things, when I get sick, they're going to cover some of that bill. What ends up happening is we pay these people month after month after month, and their hope is they don't ever have to pay that back, pay us out. So what they do is they deny your claim, and we'll get to some of the shadiness about them denying claims a little bit later in the show. They deny your claim, they defend that decision, and you guessed it, they're deposing. They're trying to do everything they can to not pay out. They're going to say that maybe this claim is filed incorrectly. You need to go back to the hospital and get a second thing so we can verify this is real. We need to prove this is real. Then they're going to say, well, did you really need to be at the in the emergency room for this? So we don't know that it was necessarily worth you being in the emergency room for X, Y, and Z. And the interesting thing is, because we've argued, our system is set up where we have this thing. Our system is set up in such a way that you're supposed to, because it's not because it's privatized and it's not ran by the government, you are supposed to find the best insurance for yourself, right? It's a capitalist market. But the issue with healthcare specifically is when your heart fails while you're shopping and they take you in an ambulance to the hospital, you don't have time to shop around and decide which hospital you're going to because that's in network, or this isn't, what kind of care you're going to get because my insurance only covers this versus whatever. You just want to, you're trying to survive, or the people taking care of you are just trying to save your life. And we rack that bill up because, of course, the hospitals are privatized, so they got to make money, and the insurance company doesn't want to pay that money, so that insurance company, instead of doing what they're supposed to do because you paid them to do it every month, they just say, we don't think this is actually under something we agreed to pay out for, so if you want to fight with us about it, we can do that, but we're not going to pay for this right now. That bill's on you, the $10,000 or whatever for the ambulance ride, the emergency room stay, a night or two in the hospital. That's going to be on you. And by the way, again, I know people aren't. We're not starting off super funny today. I apologize. I am aware of that. By the way, the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States, as far as if this is, I believe this is still correct. The number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States is medical bankruptcy. It is due to medical bills, medical expenses, and I mean that most Americans have felt that at some point in their life. But so just wanted to quickly get into exactly kind of how insurance companies work specifically. But yeah, so to bring it back, United denied in 2023 about 1 in every 3 claims. So that's for anything. That's you getting you having to run to the hospital or urgent care or whatever because you potentially broke a bone, or maybe you thought you were concussed and you actually weren't concussed. And it's like, I know this personally from dealing with family members and dealing with friends of mine who've had insurance that maybe isn't the greatest insurance, and them deliberately going out of their way to avoid getting care as much as possible in fear that getting this thing checked out would cost too much. And that's a valid it sucks that should not be a reality in a first world country. I mean, it really on the planet. But the fact that it is a reality, I can't argue with it. I mean, for years of my life, I didn't have health insurance. There was a little bit of period there where I didn't. And even when I did, understanding what's in network, what's out of network, I'm thinking, okay, I'm on my mom's insurance. She's paying X out of her paycheck every month. And then I'm showing up to this appointment. Why am I still paying $75 out of pocket? That's interesting. That's curious. But so, these things happen. United Healthcare, so that 1 in every 3 denials, right, I just want to throw this out there also, United, opposed to any other healthcare provider, has the highest denial rate. Almost by an average of almost by 2. We got some people in the comments saying, we back. We are back, guys. What's happening? Sorry, I'm complaining about healthcare to start off. So Brian Thompson, who we're going to say his name quite a few times today. Brian Thompson, who's the CEO, was the former CEO of United Healthcare until he just passed or was murdered. He was in charge of a company that, as recent as 2 years ago, was accused by senators of the United States of specifically using artificial intelligence to help in those denials of claims. So United Healthcare leads the league in scoring when it comes to denying people health care. And to do that, they were juicing. They were cheating. Basically, they had adopted, this is alleged, and this is under investigation, I believe. They were using AI to help auto-deny claims. And what's even scarier is that as recent as 2022, they started trying to figure out, using those same AI models, trying to figure out who in advance, based off their denial system, did they realize, trying to figure out who would appeal so that they could make it harder for said individuals to appeal. So they could figure out what kind of claims get denied the most, what kind of people get denied the most, figure out what those kind of claims are, and then find ways to make it more difficult to appeal for those specific claims. It's actually insane. We did hear about the monopoly money. We talked about that just a little bit earlier. Sorry, there's people in the comments here. We got yeah. Oh, sorry. That's what I wanted to get to. So, dude, that's the thing. I'm sorry. It's just it's interesting because I was at I even this past weekend I was talking with some people that I know personally disagree with me politically on so many things. Probably on, well, I can assure you on the last election, probably the last 3 elections, and nobody disagrees about this. Nobody disagrees that these, specifically when it comes to healthcare, that the insurance companies are just fucking us. There's no other way to put it. We pay them every month, every year. They make insane amounts, unfathomable amounts of money. The CEO is making millions of dollars a year. And I just saw a clip of this, so I will shout it out as well. The beginning of the Incredibles film, which I don't know if how many of you remember. This was just on my TikTok page, For You page, which is wild. The beginning of that film, when the main character, Mr. Incredible, when he's working his desk job, and he's trying to explain to the old lady that, like, there's no way we can't cover this, we can't cover blah 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 blah, and he then waits for her to, he tells her to, like, cry so that he can, make it sound like he's denying her, and then he gives her the exact playbook on how to actually get through all the bureaucracy and get her claim paid for. And then just watch the scene. It's insane. It's sickening. It's wild that I was like, I had no idea as a child what this was talking about, but he's literally, not only is he a superhero as Mr. Incredible, he is a superhero working at this insurance firm and helping people actually get their stuff paid for, because it's set up, everything is set up for them not to. And he gets in trouble, he gets reprimanded by his boss because he is allowing people's insurance claims to be fulfilled. He gets in trouble with his boss. Because when you think about it, if you're a for-profit company, so again, your company is designed to put profit first. A health insurance company's job is not to cover costs for you. They are not trying to get you the best care. They are trying to make as much money as they can so they can pay out the shareholders. To do that, they would have to, based on their business model, collect as much as possible and pay as little as possible. Does that make sense? I hope so, because I did have to explain tariffs on my Instagram story like a few weeks ago, and I had, two interesting responses from some people. Were like, "Oh, I didn't even realize this." And I was like, man, I thought we all knew that. So I don't mean to sound, if I sound a little condescending, I do apologize. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make ostracize anybody or make people feel dumb, because if you didn't know this stuff, because there was a time where I didn't know this stuff, there's a time where everybody doesn't know these things. And realistically, in a better system, we wouldn't have to know these things. But that's how it works, right? That's how insurance works. I need to get as much money as possible, and I need to pay out as little as possible. So how do I do that? I up premiums, right? Or I even potentially put certain features or certain coverages behind even more money, right? So maybe we won't include dental anymore. Normally, we will, in this plan that otherwise did include dental. Maybe we'll make it cost even more per month to have dental included. Which, sidebar, it's insane that dental insurance isn't already included with every health insurance. Why is that? Why is that a separate thing? Because when you think about most diseases, and I think there's a stat to back this up. I don't have somebody here to pull it up for me right this second, but most diseases start in the mouth, like throughout history. I mean, just how much bacteria is up in here. How many conspiracy theorists have I sat across from talking into one of these, and now I'm sitting here breathing it in. So much bacteria in here. Why the fuck is dental insurance not included with most insurance plans? That's insane that those are two separate things. It should all be included. It's health. Same with mental health too. I'm currently, I've been talking about it on this podcast. I'm in a lot of therapy right now. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to become a better person, get to know myself, understand myself more, working on acceptance. So many insurance policies do not include mental health. They don't include it. They don't include like talk therapy. They'll maybe do like a psychiatrist. Because why? Because a psychiatrist is going to give you a prescription, which makes the big pharma more money. It's all money, dude. It's all money. I'm sorry. Luigi, I'm on prep. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Luigi. Yeah, we are gonna get to that in a minute. I'm sorry, I was sidebarring there. Where was I? Somebody tie me up or bring me back. What am I saying? I'm sorry. I'm very out of it today. I've had a lot of doing research for the show today, and I had a guest who was supposed to be representing a band today. That's like a band I was excited to interview, and then they backed out. I knew we were going to get into the healthcare stuff anyways with them on the show, but they backed out today. And it's one of those backouts where it's like I reach out to them the day of to be like, hey, we're still doing it right. And they're like, oh, no, we can't make that happen. Like as if it was already known. And it's like, dude, if I have to reach out to you for you to cancel, that's a bad look. I don't know, whatever. Very, very, Brian Thompson of them, very United Health. It's giving United Health. Yeah, but this situation is insane. It's insane because those same people, how I was talking about how I disagree with these people on so many things when it comes to politics, when it comes to like cultural issues. Everybody seems, at least online, aside from corporate big money media, everybody gets it. You look at it's hilarious. Like you look at, it'll be a pundit on CNN talking about like, it's so bizarre that there was monopoly money in the backpack. Why would there be monopoly money in the backpack? And it's like, we're watching the absolute dumbest fucking people break this down. Like, I know that you don't, there is absolutely no way that you believe, like you don't know why the monopoly money is in there. There's no way that those people, and it's hilarious. You get a clip of it on TikTok and you open the comments and everybody gets it. Everybody gets it except for the mainstream news or big corporate media. And what's hilarious is too, I don't know how online you guys are, but if you know somebody by the name of Ben Shapiro, who is to put it as politely as possible, a right-wing thinker, we'll say, because that's what he does sometimes. He has a very rampant audience online that basically backs, I would say, everything he puts out there. He made his video shilling for the corporate CEO and saying how it's deplorable that people are almost rejoicing in his death and all this stuff. And the comments are just trashing him. And you almost never see that. Like, you almost never see, especially when it comes to, like, conservative media, right? And even, I'm not even talking mainstream media. I'm talking, like, new corporate right-wing media, right? Like the Daily Wires, right? So Tucker Carlson is on. I think he has a show through that. No, he doesn't. I think he's through X. But, like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, all these guys, they get a bunch of money from corporations that are donating into these funds to keep these guys going. You almost never see, like, infighting or people, like, their audience checking them. Like, it's very rare, unless they say something bad about Daddy Trump. Then you'll lose the Trumpers for a day or two. They'll come back around once you switch back and you agree with him again. But they almost never disagree with their audience. Almost never disagrees with them. And if you look up, I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, go to Ben Shapiro's YouTube page, and you will see that people are just absolutely trashing him. Absolutely trashing him. You need a brain to think, though. You do, yeah. And he is, well, it is what it is. But, yeah, so they did catch the guy today, or who they think is the guy. And I want to pull up some pictures of him. One interesting fact that I can't find it again, but we did find his Instagram today from before this. And he or the alleged person the person they have in custody, which is interesting. I'm not about to be an Alex Jones conspiracy theorist for the left, but I am going to say it is convenient that the man who was able to trick all of New York City, one of the most, I'd imagine one of the most well-funded police forces, right, in the biggest city. There's so much surveillance going on. He's able to trick them and finesse and get out of there, have them on a, goose chase of, investigating his bullets and finding his bag full of Monopoly money. I find it interesting that he was just walking around with the gun after, which is apparently the man that they caught today, the person they have in custody, was found with a manifesto, which, to be fair, I would bet that whoever did this would have a manifesto, and two, had the weapon on him, if it is in fact the weapon. But it is just interesting. It's like, how, I don't know, like, why would you, if you are escaping, which successfully was doing, why would you just be walking around with the piece on you? I don't know, but I haven't killed many people in broad daylight, so maybe I just don't understand. Maybe there was a plan there. But yeah, they got him because of some fake, they realized he had like a fake ID or something at a McDonald's, and it's been like, that's what I keep hearing reported on. And I don't know, what do you need an ID for at McDonald's? Or maybe it was at the hotel and then they just happened to catch him when he was at the McDonald's. I don't know. But yeah, so they caught your boy. It's interesting when you look back, because a lot of people, especially myself, I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got to be like a lefty. Like, this guy's got to be like, it's insane. I don't think anybody is like sitting here being like, go end people in the streets. No, I'm not promoting that. I'm not saying anyone should do that. But I think it is interesting, like, seeing this and seeing people rejoice, just kind of based off like the motive, which is very obvious to most people that can think and can read. You'd think, okay, this person's probably left of center. But I watched a video of them breaking down his Twitter today as they found out who it was. If it ends up being this guy, I don't know. He very much a right-wing adjacent, like right-wing adjacent interests, which again brings me back to what I said at the beginning of the episode, where I think this issue is obviously, and I've been seeing this comment a bunch, it is an up versus down thing as opposed to left versus right. But it is still interesting to note that, like, anytime that there's been a violence to this degree, even with the 2 attempts on Donald Trump's life, it's a right winger that's disgruntled and sort of like snaps or whatever, right? I don't know. I do not know. I did also see on online somewhere where someone said something to the effect of, it'll be interesting to see, like, as more information comes out, when we get the manifesto, and the motive is spelled out for the media, because apparently they need it spelled out, like what that would do to maybe some of these fringe people, because we do have an issue with shootings in America. I don't think that's a secret. I don't even think that's a partisan thing. I don't think that's someone, just because I am leaning to the left, I don't think that's me having a bias on that. We have an issue with that for sure. And I specifically one with schools. Schools are often almost practice for some of these guys. And what's going to be interesting to see, what I saw people posing the question of, is like, it's wild how sometimes school shooters have like looked back, and maybe this is unhinged, and you guys can check me if it is, and I apologize if it is. School shooters, in some cases, they want to take back control of their life. Like, they feel like disenfranchised. They feel like whatever. And there is a part of them that thinks that, like, doing that based on like the news cycle and sort of the notoriety that comes from it, that they will be this infamous person, infamous figure, right? Like the Columbine guys. I forget which was the big one after that. Was it the Sandy Hook one? Or I forget which one it was before we started getting them like every month. Prior to that, it was like they would cite the Columbine incident as like almost inspiration. Like, I wonder if like this is gonna maybe flip a switch to some of these people to be like, hey, maybe the innocent children that have not done anything to deserve that, maybe those are not the people that you should be using to, impose your will onto the world and make a statement to go. If you're trying to be someone that's going down like that, maybe that's not them. Maybe different target, because people are celebrating this guy. They really are. I don't know that I will go as far as to do that, but I do think it's interesting that it's like there's a small minority of people that are trying to shill out for the big corporations, or if they are like specifically a I don't even know, I don't know how to say it politely, and I don't want to blanket it as like right-wing media, because it obviously, I do think most of it is right-wing media that are people that are leaning towards that, but I don't think it's right-wing people. I think even people that are on the right side of the political spectrum are not falling for that shit. Like, they're like, nah, that dude don't care about me. He don't care about my mom, because everybody in America has at least had some experience with somebody in their family, whether it's a friend even, where they've had to deal with the healthcare system and they understand how terrible it is. Dude, I remember having I didn't understand what a benefit was. When people have like a benefit or for like somebody in a community, I thought that was like, because the first one I had a friend, and I've talked about it before on this podcast, that passed very young from cancer, child cancer. It's very sad. Not a great time for the community. But I remember, obviously, like, this person fought for like 2.5 years or 3 years, like leukemia. And the bills on that are insane. Again, I didn't know that as a child, but it was kind of loosely explained to me when I found out that we were going to like this big event, a benefit for said person, because, obviously there was a single mom taking care of this individual. And when they passed, the mom still got to pay all those medical bills, which is sickening. It's insane. And so we had a benefit. Like, there was the whole town came out. They spend money at this thing, at this event, and that money goes to help with this mom paying those bills back, to try to help. I remember years later being confused when one of my other friends was having a benefit at the same place, because we only had one banquet hall, at the same place for their dad, who I'm like, I thought, so I got emotional. I'm like, damn, so-and-so's dad is dead. Like, that's terrible. I couldn't imagine. I started thinking about my dad. I'm like, oh my God, like, what if my dad, like, you have all those, start grieving, crazy shit going on in my mind. I'm like probably 10, 12. And, we show up and dude is there, just in a wheelchair. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And it was like he had broken his back or something. And the medical bills from that, they weren't going to be. And he was, this man served the community. He was a firefighter. He had part-time gigs, doing plenty of shit. I think he owned his own, like, small business in a trade. And he couldn't pay for, breaking his back. That's the thing. Most Americans are one medical emergency away from being donezo, from being bankrupt, from needing to throw a benefit. It's to even have a chance. It's insane. And so, like, when people sit there and they're like shilling for this guy, that, to bring it back to what I was trying to say, when people are sitting here and they're shilling for this guy, or they're saying it's so wrong that anybody can be, or they're acting so surprised that this would happen. It's like, are you really surprised? Because if you think about it, this motherfucker himself could cover the medical bills for hundreds of family based off his yearly salary. But instead, his sole job is to find a way to make sure their bills are higher. Not to say they're higher. Make sure that his company that promises to pay those bills, or a portion of those bills, does not pay those bills. It's like, at what point, like, you got to understand, like, if you talk shit, you get hit. Like, and he's not talking shit, but it's like, actions speak louder than words. So yeah, sure, this dude, Brian Thompson, is not sitting there on the phone with me when I'm like, dude, I strained my strained my quad, like I tore part of my quad. So I went to the doctor. I didn't go to an emergency room. I made an appointment. I got it checked out. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't fully ruptured or fully whatever, right? He's not on the phone with me saying, Darren, we're not going to pay for it, whatever. But they have helped. He has helped put systems in place. And even if he didn't come up with the systems, he has helped maintain those systems. So, of course, I bet what happened, I don't know, but I can almost bet that when we get the manifesto or when the story comes out, and you can come back, someone come back and tell me if I was right when this happens. I almost guarantee that whoever this shooter, whether it's the guy they have or if they catch someone else, that this person had lost a family member because of the inability to cover medical expenses or some sort of insurance malfunction. And I don't know if you know this, I think Blue Cross Blue Shield just announced, like this week, like the day before all this happened, that they are no longer going to cover anesthesia that goes longer than what is expected. So, for instance, if you need to get surgery done, let's say you're getting a knee surgery, as the kids on TikTok love to joke about. You're getting knee surgery, and they put you under for that because you cannot be awake while I am sawing into your knee. They put you under for that. Sleepy time. That is an anesthesiologist, is how you say that word, I believe. They are giving you anesthesia, which is a drug. It's a combination of drugs, whatever, to keep you asleep and obviously still alive so the doctors can perform the surgery and you don't feel the pain. They will tell you beforehand, hey, the surgery should take about 2 hours. Maybe 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. What the insurance companies are trying to push for right now, and I believe Blue Cross Blue Shield has already implemented it, I don't know if they've gone back on it since this dude got murked, is that if you come in for a knee surgery and the doctors or the surgeons say it's going to be a 3-hour surgery, if it goes over 3 hours, they still got to keep you under. So the insurance companies are saying that they are not going to cover any amount of anesthesia that is over the amount that was previously determined. So if it goes over 3 hours, you're paying for it. Because you have control over that, right? So what does that do? That puts the pressure on two people, the patient and the doctor, or the patient and the surgeon. So patient-wise, well, maybe I just won't get the surgery. I will literally just not get the care that I need because I am out of fear that it may go long and I'm going to have to pay something that there's no fucking way I can pay for. Or it's going to put pressure on doctors and surgeons to perform procedures faster and less safe so that they are not personally damning their patients to medical bankruptcy. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's insane. I'm a random dude. I am a random dude with a podcast. I have a degree, not a degree in this. I took economics in college. I took economics in high school. And I can tell you that it just doesn't make sense that these companies exist. Insurance companies are literally, when it comes to medical insurance specifically, insurance companies are middlemen between you and the care that you should get. I don't know. I do not know. Sorry, that was a lot. What else did I get everything on this story? I'm sorry. That's sort of like I bounced around a lot, but basically where it stands now is the guy who potentially shot him, who they think shot him, is in custody. And I'm sure we'll find out more throughout the week. I do hope well, no, I don't hope that, but I mean, if it turns out to be the wrong guy, that would be a crazy look for law enforcement. And I will say, that was the other thing too. Look at how much resources they're putting into this. look at how many resources they're putting in to find this person. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? They're doing that because this is a millionaire CEO of a billion, well, probably $1 trillion corporation. What do they do? Somebody went missing in my hometown. We talked about it on this podcast a while back. An old man went missing in my hometown who was a weird old dude, apparently had weird relationships with not minors, but just, selling drugs to younger people. Went missing because of some drug-related thing. It took them months. It took them months to find the body that was in, I'm not even joking, it was 100 feet from this dude's apartment, maybe 200 feet. Under like this much loose dirt off of a trail. Like the trail to get, you basically leave these apartments, there's a little trail, and it was maybe 15, 20 yards off the trail. You could probably see it, with just like some loose dirt on top of it. It took them like 2 months to find this body. And then it took them another 2 or 3 months to figure out who the fuck did it and arrest them. Well, we had the whole city on alert for this guy, which again, I mean, I'm not saying anybody should, that's the thing. Like, I don't want some weird, I don't know, somebody who loves healthcare companies to clip this and be like, oh, so you're saying that it's cool? Like you're cool with people killing people? I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, like, it's just every part of this story just screams wealth inequality. It's just a mirror for America to look and be like, look. They can't hide it. They're not hiding it because they can't. They cannot hide the fact that they are pissed that one of the poors got them. I don't know. It's yeah. I think I've seen the comment a million times that now in the last week that we are this close to class consciousness. I have a news reporter coming on next week, so I hope this isn't the one episode that he watches because we usually are a lot funnier than this. I don't know. Sorry about that. So I want to get to the other part of today, which is rich guys, and it ties into what we just talked about. The rich, the CEOs of the world, who run for-profit companies, right? Because they're for-profit, which means that their number one goal is to make a profit, make more profit, no matter what. The rich do not care about you. They do not care how much it costs for you to put gas in your tank. They do not care how much it costs for your baby to get medical assistance, to get the care that it needs to survive and live. They don't care. They care about how much money you put in their pockets. All right, so it's not, I want people to get this, again, because we have people in this audience, I know that we do, that maybe are on, that maybe look at people like me, that maybe they like me, but they don't like a lot of people that believe in the same things I believe in. I want to explain to you that this moment specifically highlights that we are on the same team and that we are being tricked a lot of the times to care about other things that don't matter. The people that are ruining your life are not immigrants. The people that are destroying our country and our economy are not trans people. It's not your black roommates or black classmates. The people destroying the fabric of society are these CEOs and these other people behind them, the shareholders in these meetings that we never see. Those people are the ones taking your jobs. Those people are when people hit you with immigrants are taking your jobs. No, they're not. These people are quite literally executing your jobs, deleting them off the face of the fucking planet because they are they're taking all of the money that you and I help them make, right? All of the profit that they make, and obviously do not share with us, they are using that. So by exploiting you, because they have to exploit you to be able to make a profit, they have to be able to pay you less, so that they can have more on the top. The money that they made exploiting you, they have been taking and funneling into research and development for artificial intelligence or lobbying laws to be able to then pay you less, or paying lawmakers to put less restrictions for insurance companies so they can deny more people legally. They're taking that profit that you helped them make, and they are paying a politician to go to Washington and figure out ways so that they don't have to check the oil rigs every 6 months. And you know what happens when the oil rig blows up? You pay for it. And they come screaming back to the government and to you, please help us out, please help us out. But when you needed time off, because someone a cousin maybe that you grew up with and don't get to see ever because you can't afford to see them because they live in a different part of the state or a different part of the country and you can't afford the flights all year round, when you needed time off because that cousin was dying, when that person was dying in the hospital and their family is now going to be stuck with all the medical debt, and you couldn't get time approved off to go see them, did they care? No. They needed to make more money, so they let you go because you're not reliable enough. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I just, this shit hurts, dude. And it's not even just healthcare, dude. All these, I'm sure that there are people that are wealthy that are all right. I'm not sitting here saying everybody that's rich is not a good person. But I will tell you one more personal anecdote today. You guys know I'm in the service industry. I bartend. I'm bartending the other day, and this person comes in that was incredibly rude. The definition of a douchebag. Like they talked shit to me. They insulted my intelligence multiple times and did so. And every time I would, because I'm not a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm going to get macho for a second here. If that makes people come around. I'm not a bitch, bro. If somebody really, like, once it stepped over the line where this dude was like trying to say, like, did you even do this? Did you even, then I'm like, what are we doing here? Then every time I checked him, then it was, oh, just kidding, man. Just kidding. And okay, cool. He was with his buddies. So whatever, let it go. Was one of the worst shifts I ever had dealing with this fucker. And this person comes back a week or two later with their kids. Such an awkward experience. Still annoying as shit, wanting special treatment, wanting all these extra things done that normally we can't do. Whatever, put up with it. Comes in a third time, again within the same stretch. And this man comes in, gets like almost $100 worth of food. Remember, service industry, I get paid off people's tips. This man tells me that his daughters have his credit card, and they're out shopping with his credit card right now, and they'll be back. They're gonna meet him there, and he'll pay then. So I wait. I'm past my shift is over. We're closed. I'm still sitting in here with this dude because I'm waiting for this money to come. It's about 15-20 minutes after we close. He goes, okay, they're outside right now. Let me grab the card. I'll be right back in. Goes outside. 15 minutes go by. Dude's not there. Another 10 minutes go by. Dude's not there. So it's now like 35 minutes-ish since 25, 30 minutes since, he walked outside. So I call him, and I found his number, called him. Denies my call right away. End up looking up because I had caller ID, this person, and this piece of shit who couldn't tip me the, $15 or $20 or whatever it would have been to tip 20% on this bill, who was absolutely atrocious to deal with the other two times that I had to deal with this person. Found out that They are a disgraced Milwaukee lawyer. Famously disgraced. Piece of shit. Hasn't paid taxes in who knows how fucking long. Has been avoiding it while simultaneously paying for their kids to go to a private all-girls school. Give them the credit card so they can go out on shopping sprees. Spending hundreds of dollars at my bar. And apparently in the articles that I read, and you guys can look up Milwaukee lawyer, owes $4.2 million in back taxes or not paying taxes. You'll find his name. I'm not going to put his name up because I don't need to do all that. He's a bitch, and you'll see his stupid face. But it's like, this is a rich person. This is someone who can afford to give me my $10, $15, and not doing it. This is somebody whose making so much money. And I'm not saying, I can't count this guy's pockets. I don't know how much he's making a year. But I know he's making enough to not pay $4.2 million in taxes. And was apparently specifically aware. It's different. You make a mistake and you pay not as much as you were supposed to, and then the IRS comes in and they're like, hey, so and so, whoever you had do your shit, they did it wrong. They made a mistake. You owe us this money, and then pay this money. No, this motherfucker has been dodging it. Has been doing shady shit, renting boats, buying boats, going on crazy vacations. It's in this art. It's in these articles, man. And it's like, and this person was just sat across from me, just disrespected the fuck out of me for 3 times. And maybe, that's a stupid personal anecdote, but it just goes to show you that these people do not care about you. They don't care about you. And just because somebody is rich does not make them smart. We got to stop that. Just because somebody is rich does not make them better than you. Because we all know somebody whose parents had a beautiful house that we went to high school with that is just dumber than a fucking box of rocks. And some of them are sweet. Some of them are good people, man. Don't get me wrong. Some of these people are good. But you cannot keep equating money with competency, or money with intelligence, or money with skill. That's just not how it works. Just don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. But yeah, this big Milwaukee lawyer, scumbag, owes like $4 million in taxes. He's going to jail. Found out he's going to jail. So hopefully he goes away for a while. Sad for his kids. That's the other thing too. It's like, I saw people saying about the CEO that got, murked. Like, oh, he's got children, he's got a wife, whatever. The wife I feel less sympathetic for, but the kids I definitely, that sucks, man. Like, you don't pick who your parents are. Your dad turns out to be a piece of shit that the biggest achievement in his life is, robbing the American public of quality health care. You didn't pick that. So you can't put anything on them. So that is sad, and they don't have a dad now, so that sucks. But yeah, dude, rich people suck, bro. Rich people suck. Good rich people will hear that and not care. It's the same shit. Like, it's interesting when you criticize the ultra wealthy sometimes, or you're like, hey, these people should be paying more in taxes. Which I did just listen to Jon Stewart and Bernie Sanders talk about this the other day, or it was this morning I was listening to it. John explained that, like, maybe we can do a better job on the messaging side from people that are asking them to pay more taxes to, like, explain what that's going to go to specifically, so then more people will get on board with it, which I totally agree with. But that's sort of an aside. Whenever you try to explain that these people should be paying more into taxes, you do get, there is this group of people that have never had money, will never have money, who will sit there and defend it and be like, oh, but they're so smart. That's how they got there. They're so smart that they don't have to pay taxes. They're doing it the right way. It's like, dude, if you're some small business, making less than even $100,000 a year for your business, like, and you at the end of the year see that, okay, you're going to be up $20K in profit, and you decide that you want to invest that into $20,000 worth of improvements for your storefront or for your workers or for whatever to break even, so then you're not having to pay like additional tax. That's fine, because you're still paying taxes on everything throughout the year, every purchase, every whatever, like whatever, bro. And you can only do that for so long before the government steps in anyways. And most small businesses don't have the lawyers to then, fight that and prolong that even more. But it's like these huge, huge corporations are not paying taxes. By them not paying taxes, your roads are worse. Your schools are worse. Your parks are worse. Your everything is worse. And we get tricked where it's like, dude, I see how much money comes out of my paycheck, and I think these people think, oh, if I could not have that, like my life would be better. So he must just be so smart that he hasn't had to pay any taxes. He figured it out, man. Like they all think that they're gonna be rich tomorrow, so they're like, I don't want you to do any rules for them. It's like, no, I am this podcast. I know it's bad, right? I know we don't, numbers wise, I don't do much, but this podcast is gonna make me money someday, make me a lot of money someday, and I am happy to pay more in taxes. If I was making, this is the thing that's crazy. When you look at like Elon Musk and you look at these other people that are making billions of dollars, they just made even more by the guy who just got elected, being elected in the office, the top 1% or 0.1% made like, I think an extra $500 billion or something. Like all of their net worths went up that much, which is, again, it's like 3 people that own that much wealth. When you're talking about these guys, let's just do some quick math for 1 second, and then we'll try to get to something funny. I swear. We're gonna flip this over. I know it's gonna be smaller, but let's take a look. Let's do 500 billion. There's 50,000, 500,000, 5 million. Oh, I added a 2. Whatever. We'll keep going. 50 million, 500 million, 5 billion, 50 billion, 500 million. Okay? Let's pretend that you paid even, let's do 90%. Oh, shit. I clicked that wrong. God damn it. I'm going to just bring it back real quick. 500 billion times 0.9 would be 450 billion. You still have $50 billion if you paid 90% of your money into taxes. Do you know what $450 billion could do? That is world-changing shit. That is just being hoarded. And I made a joke on my TikTok and this isn't even a new joke. This is something that I've heard talked about before, where it's like, if you lived on an island, a deserted island, it was me and 9 other people. There's 10 people on the island, and one dude, there's only 10 coconuts on this island, and one dude has 9 coconuts, and he's leaving the other 9 people to split and share one coconut. At a certain point, I'm taking my coconut, putting up his ass, and beating that dude down. Like, this is not a system that works. It is not a system that's helping people, and we have to do things about it. I'm sorry. When they say that meme of like, what radicalized you? I don't know. It's been a slope for me. All right. It's just been worse and worse. I'm getting more and more involved and more passionate about these things because I just want to see things get better, and I can't handle how bad it's getting. I'm sorry. I'm ranting. I talk way too much about politics, I think. Not really on this show. I feel like I keep it pretty tame. But yeah, what else is going on? What is happening in the world that is good? That I don't know. I apologize. Yeah. What did I do this weekend? I'm gonna give you guys something good for people that care. I had my alumni basketball game, so I got to go see some of my college teammates, many of which have sat across from me on this podcast. That was fun. Got to see a bunch of them again. That was good. That was a good time. And we got to see longtime and multiple appearancer, I don't know, guest. He's been a guest on the show a million times. Big Ty. Got to see him at his place of employment, which was hilarious. It shouldn't be funny, but there is something about it, dude. Going to see your friends at work that is just like, everybody should do it. Go find your friend at their job and just mess with them, terrorize them for just a little bit. If they work in a service industry, throw them some cash, make it worth their while. If they don't, buy him dinner or something after. But it is fun because it's like you just can't do anything when you're the person that's working. And I've had friends do it to me. But it is fun. Something about it is interesting. Anything else before we wrap, guys? Anything else? Maybe should I start Twitch streaming? I was thinking about this because I do this podcast every week, and I do love it. I do enjoy it, especially when I get to sit across from great people. Not happening today, but I do still enjoy it. And I'm like, maybe I should just Twitch stream and just be on the internet. But I also am afraid that will... I feel like I expose myself bad enough on this show. I don't know how much better or worse it would be if I was just live for like 8 hours, like on the web. Like right now, like usually I got to yell at one of my friends to pull something up on the computer. If I just had it at my fingertips, I don't know. I think things could go wrong or go south pretty fast. So I've been contemplating it though. So you guys let me know if anybody actually watches to the end of the episode. Other than that, guys, I'm sorry I didn't have anything fun. We started the show a couple minutes late today because I had my anti-rich people rant and notes kind of ready to go, but I realized that the episode was going to be not so fun. Like it was going to be more me just ranting. And I was like really looking for something fun and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, hopefully it comes to me while I'm live. And it didn't. So I apologize for that. I let you down this week. My improv skills were not there. But that is why we started a couple minutes late. Genuinely, I was like, I had everything ready to go. And I'm sitting there. Whenever I do these solo episodes, I like it to be like detox about blank, blank, blank. Like 3 things. I don't know why. It just sounds good. And I was like, healthcare, rich people. And I wanted it to be like something stupid, like Fortnite or whatever. But I talked enough about Fortnite. I need something with some meat, something that I could get into. But honestly, other than the memes I've seen about stuff we talked about earlier, I just haven't been super tapped into like funny, silly stuff lately. So I apologize for that. But yeah, guys, that's the episode. That's where we're at today. That was the 284th episode. I got to give you guys a couple little shout outs. First off, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who tunes in every week, even when I do these solo episodes. Today is the best I think I handled people. I've told you guys earlier, I'm in therapy and whatnot, and I've complained a million times on the show about when people cancel on me. Today, I was only super angry, wanting to kill people for like 10 minutes. So that is a win. That is a win. So that I will take because they did cancel on me day of, that does usually piss me off. And I felt good about the show. I felt like we had stuff to talk about, even though I know it wasn't super funny. I had stuff to talk about. So thank you guys for tuning in, even when people don't show up and it's just my stupid face. So I do appreciate you doing that. I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight, as well as those people that are listening days after over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I also quickly, give me 1 second here as I jump up, want to say a quick shout out to where they at? Our patrons. There they are. Our patrons. They're up on the screen right now. If you are interested in getting behind the scenes access to extra podcasts, extra videos, as well as a series where I break down how I mix, master, write, record every single one of my songs, go to patreon.com/Darren Rita. You can help support the channel for as little as $1. That is patreon.com/Darren Rita, and you can help support the channel for as little as $1. Plus, you get shouted out at the end of every episode. Your name is on the screen. Maybe I should put my face on the screen too, so people can feel like, they're there with me. Who knows? Let's do this. We've also got to thank Alpine House 2. Sorry, it's just me in the studio today, guys. There's helpers and whatnot, but it's just me today. Also want to say a quick shout out to Alpine House 2 for sponsoring another episode of the pod. That's at Alpine House 2 on Instagram. Reach out to them. Book a staycation, vacation. It's a winter wonderland up there in the UP. Check them out. That's at Alpine House 2 on Instagram. Thank you to them. And with that being said, go back to 1 here. With that being said, guys, this has been the 284th episode of the Detox Podcast. I'm very excited about next week's show, and I will see you then. Peace.